Hi, good day everyone. My name is Aaron A. Capodonga, and our group is tasked to discuss Chapter 7, Student Diversity. And my task is to discuss first the first lesson in this chapter, the learning styles. Includes my topic or learning styles, Cobb's experiential learning cycle, and Cobb's learning styles. So let us first have a quick introduction on what is student diversity, the chapter 7. So nowadays, teachers have faced um, diverse learners inside the classroom. This situation calls the teachers to become more innovative and creative to satisfy the varied characteristics and needs for the 21st century learners. Now it is essential that the future teachers like us to be more knowledgeable, most especially on how to deal with learners' needs and interest for us to prepare learning activities that they can find more meaningful, exciting, and they can have more an urge to go to school and have a fun learning experience every day. So before we proceed to the discussion, let us first have a goals that we can achieve in this chapter. So in this chapter, you are expected to first discuss the factors that contributes to student diversity. Second, analyze classroom scenario that consider student diversity. And lastly, suggest ways on how to provide learning activities considering student diversity. Let us continue our discussion by discussing first lesson, the learning styles. So let us start. The term learning styles speaks to the understanding that every student learns differently. Technically, an individual's learning style refers to the preferential way in which the student absorbs, processes, and comprehends and retains information. So, different ways people interpret and organize information. So, the importance of knowing the concept of learning styles influence teachers' understanding of students' individual differences. Okay, so let us proceed to Cobb's experiential learning cycle. Cobb's experiential learning cycle theory is typically represented through a four-stage learning cycle. Now, it is created by Dr. David Cobb in 1974, and it helped us view learning as an integrated process in which each stage is mutually supportive and feeding into the part of the cycle. So this is how it looks like. The first experience that David Coe presented is what he called the concrete experience. This means having an experience or doing the experience for us to learn out from it. So the second one presented in the example below is what we call the reflective observation. Now it can be attained through reflecting and viewing on the experience that we had on the first one, which is the concrete. The third one is what we call the abstract conceptualization. And the fourth one is what we so called the active experimentation, which we can apply the things that we have learned in the past experiences that we have. Okay, so let us furthermore discuss the experiences in this so-called learning cycle presented by Cobbs by furthermore discussing each stage in this cycle. Now, the concrete experience. Concrete experience is what we so it can be attained by doing, or we must do it for learning to occur. For instance, this can happen when we try a task or existing task, and this step aims to create a concrete experience through exposing or doing the activities and learning out from it. The second one is what we call the reflective observation. It is taking a step from doing to reflect and reviews. This step aims to help us reflect on what went wrong on our previous experience. Take a step back from doing and see the bigger picture on the problem that we have experienced. The third one is abstract conceptualization, or we fit what we've just learned into everything we already know. This step or conceptualizations that shape our learning about practice. We generate new understandings about ourselves and our practices that inform the way we work. Here we fit what we've just learned from our past experiences into everything we already know and find solution out from the, the conflict that we have faced. The last one is active experimentation. It is when we consider what we learn and put it into action. In this step, we apply all the things we learned from our experiences and put it into practice. It is when we consider what we have learned and put it into action so that all the experiences can't go in vain and can't go useless. Let us continue our discussion by discussing Kolb's learning style. Maddox and Ewing Taylor and Johnson on 2002 state that one way to ensure quality education and positive student outcome is considering the relevance of student learning styles in designing instructional methods. David Kolb presented four basic learning styles named accommodative, assimilative, divergent, and convergent. Each learning style is incorporated with four learning modes: the concrete experiences, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. Now we take a look into Kolb's learning cycle. The cycle is divided into two dimensions. The first dimension is whether you perform active experimentation or doing, or you prefer reflective observation or watching. The bottom part is the abstract conceptualization or thinking, and the last one is the concrete experience or feeling. As we can see, as we can observe the line from east to west, it is called the processing continuum, and that refers to how we approach the tasks. Do we watch it or do we do it? And the north south line is what we call the perception continuum, and that refers to our emotional response to the task, how we think about the task, and how we feel about the task. Now let us proceed to code four basic learning style, which is presented a while ago: the accommodative, assimilative, divergent, and convergent. Let us furthermore explain and discuss this learning style. Let us first discuss the divergent or feeling when watching. People who prefer this type of learning style can see things from different perspectives. They prefer to watch than do, and people with this learning style likes working in groups. They take feedback well, and they're interested in different people in different cultures. Assimilative or watching and thinking. People who prefer this type of learning style enjoys ideas and theories, but they have less interest in people. People who prefer this type of learning style often work as technical experts. For instance, software engineers and scientists. They prefer to learn by reading and by taking lectures. The third one is what we call the convergent or doing and thinking. People who prefer this type of learning style also often work as technical experts. However, unlike the assimilating style, they like to apply their knowledge in a hands on way. They enjoy ideas and theory and also solving practical problems. The fourth one is what we call accommodative or doing and feeling. People who prefer this type of learning style are hands on learning through doing, and they prefer to use their gut instincts rather than performing their own detailed logical analysis. People who prefer this also rely on the findings of others. And that is all from my topic. I hope you learned out something from what we have discussed this day. Have a great day ahead of you guys. Thank you for listening.